By now, you probably heard and or seen the blow up that happened in the Oval Office. But if you haven't, no worries, I got you. So what happened was President Donald Trump, President Volodymyr Zelensky, and Vice President J.D. Vance had a meeting in the Oval Office, which started off somewhat cordial despite jabs at Zelensky's attire. And the most notable jab came from Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend and the chief White House correspondent for Real America's Voice, Brian Glenn, saying, "Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in the country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit." To which Zelensky responded, "I left it at your mama's house." Just kidding, but it wasn't too far from the truth. What he actually said was, "I will wear costume. After this war will finish. Maybe something like yours. Yes? Maybe something better. I don't know. Maybe something cheaper." And the whole room chuckled. Yep, they chuckled because they had no clue what he actually said. See, the word suit can be translated to costume in Ukrainian, which means that Zelensky gave a double entendre. Yep. And it went straight over their heads. Yeah. Zelensky was Kendrick Lamar, and Brian was Drake. And I'm here for it. Yeah. See, you have to understand that Zelensky was a comedian before he became the Ukrainian president. So he's used to rude remarks. He's used to hecklers. And he was ready with the clapback. Yeah, he was ready. I guess this shows that Brian and Marjorie Taylor Greene are a match made in heaven because they both got their butts handed to them on the worldwide stage. Yeah. Maybe we can make a shirt out of what Zelensky said. Yeah, maybe we can use the profits of the shirt to go to Ukraine. Maybe we can shorten it. Yeah, we can shorten it to "I left my costume at your mama's house." hmm Yeah. But I digress. The discussion escalated after J.D. Vance said Trump is engaging in a diplomatic solution, unlike Biden, to which Zelensky calmly asked, "What reassurance do we have that Putin will respect this ceasefire? What reassurance do we have that Putin won't break this ceasefire as he has done before?" And this was a question that both Trump and J.D. Vance strongly disagreed with. Yeah. To a point that they lashed out at Zelensky and repeatedly told him that he should be grateful. He needs to be more grateful for Trump's support. Yeah. The same support that even Trump has not agreed to give. Yeah, he refuses to give any guarantee for support But yet Zelensky needs to be thankful for support that he's not getting. Yeah. In fact, the only reason why Zelensky was there in the first place was to sign a deal for Americans to have access to Ukrainian minerals and 50% of the profit of said minerals. Yeah. A deal that he didn't even get to sign because he was kicked out of the White House. Yeah. A deal that was supposed to be the first of many deals to ultimately gain U.S. support for Ukraine, despite there already being an agreement in place since 1994 called the Budapest Memorandum. Yeah, this agreement, the Budapest Memorandum, included Ukraine to surrender their nuclear weapons in exchange for US, UK, and Russian, yeah, Russian security. An agreement that broke. Russia broke this agreement in 2014 and continued to break ceasefires, 24 in total, until the war in 2022. Yes, diplomatic efforts had been tried, and they failed. And the reason why Putin decided to break this agreement was because number one, Ukraine has some lands that was originally Russian. And two, Putin does not want Ukraine to join NATO, even though they are their own nation. Yeah, Putin, I think that you kind of lost that ability to say whether or not Ukraine can be part of NATO when you broke your agreement. hmm Yeah, yeah. When there was signs that you were going to break this agreement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, to put this in more perspective, this dispute has gone on for 8 years. That is three, count them three, US presidential administrations, one of which was Trump's, which Trump tried to weirdly distance himself from by saying that that was before him because it happened in 2014 or it started in 2014. But then he corrected himself by saying, Obama gave you sheets, I gave you javelins. Which, if you're like me, you're probably wondering, what is he talking about? So, what he is referring to is the $600 million in non-lethal aid, such as blankets, vehicles, night vision goggles, body armor, and training assistance, as there were concerns. Keyword here, there were concerns that sending lethal weapons, such as javelin anti-tank missiles, could provoke Putin in escalating the conflict. You know what? I do remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember how they were against Obama's diplomatic approach, saying blankets don't do well against Russian tanks. Yep, I remember. I wonder what changed. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, Obama intentionally did not give javelins because he did not want to incite war. But Trump did. Yeah, you heard it out of his own mouth that he gave the javelins, not Obama. And he was proud of that. So, do you remember how he repeatedly said throughout his whole campaign that Russia would not have invaded Ukraine if he were president in 2022? You remember that? You remember how he said Putin wouldn't dare? He wouldn't dare because he respects me. He respects me. He doesn't respect Biden, but he respects me. You remember that? Well, if we were to take this at face value, that giving Ukraine weapons would entice war with Russia, then Trump literally debunked his own claim. Because he gave Ukraine javelins and not sheets. Meaning, even if he won in 2020, Russia would still most likely have invaded Ukraine. And that's the end of today's show. I hope that you enjoyed this format as much as I enjoyed it. I'm sorry that I missed you last week. I lost my voice and I didn't get it back until yesterday. But I view it as a blessing because it allowed me to be open, to be influenced and inspired by other creators like Luke Beasley, Reese Waters, Don Lemon, the Midas Touch Network, Tabitha Speaks Politics, Philip DeFranco, and Omni, all of which I respect, even though I don't always agree with their opinions. I highly recommend that you check each and every one of them out. And right now, I feel like I'm rambling. But long story short, you can expect more content like this in the future. Even though the videos are going to take a little bit longer to edit, I think it's worth it because I love teaching, I love reporting, and I love acting. And this new format makes the YouTube algorithm happy. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Right now, we're at 719. So we are so close, so close. So go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.